So for this video, I'm just going to be explaining how we got the special angles. After a while, you'll just be memorizing the actual values of the special angles. You should have an understanding that they don't just come out of the air, that there's reason behind it and the way we got the special angles. Okay, so to explain the special angles or how we got them, okay, we're going to use an equilateral triangle here. Okay. The special angles are 30 degrees, 60 degrees, and 45 degrees. Those are going to be the building blocks of trig, and those special angles. Okay, so we start with an equilateral triangle. All sides are of equal length, and that also means that we know the number of degrees of each corner here. They're all the same, okay, which means that they're each at 60 degrees. Okay, so you notice here that that covers one of my angles, that's 60 degrees. I also need 30 degrees. The way to get 30 degrees is to cut one of these angles right in half. So let's take the top 60 degrees here, cut it in half into 2 30s. Okay, so that means I have 30 degrees here and here. Now, let's put some numbers in here to make it easier for ourselves. Okay. So they're all the same length. Okay. Probably think the easiest one to use would be 1, 1, 1, and 1. Okay. That would split this side here that I've cut in half into half and a half. So let's try to work with whole numbers here. That means that we're going to work with 2. So that means that this side length is 2. This is 2, and what we've split in the middle here is 2, so I've got 1 on each side here. Okay, so let's just take those hash marks out. We know that all sides are equal length now. The other thing I'm going to add is we cut this right in half. The angle we formed at the bottom, it was 90 degrees. We made a perpendicular bisector. Bisector means we cut this right in half. Perpendicular means 90 degrees. Okay, so 90 degrees on both sides. Okay. So now we have two of our special angles, 30 and 60. Now, in this triangle, if we isolate one half, okay, let's use this half. If we isolate one half, we've got a 90-degree triangle. Okay. I've got the hypotenuse. I've got one side, but I'm missing this side right here. Okay, I don't know what that side length is. Okay, so we can figure that out quite easily using Pythagoras theorem. I've got a right angle triangle here, and I know two of the sides, so I know the hypotenuse. Okay, so a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We call this a, so I know I've got a here, so I've got 1 squared plus b is the side that we don't know. C is the side of the hypotenuse. Okay, so that's 2 squared. So I end up with 1 plus b squared is equal to 4. We do a little bit of math, and we end up with b is equal to square root of 3. So now I can fill in that last missing side. So there are the trig ratios for a 60-degree triangle and a 30-degree triangle. Okay. So let's fill them in over here. Okay. In our 60-degree triangle, the opposite is square root of 3. The adjacent side is 1. The hypotenuse is 2. Okay. Now, if you think about the 30-degree angle, the opposite is 1. The adjacent is the square root of 3. And the hypotenuse again is 2. Okay, I was going to go into more detail for the 45-degree triangle, but again, I'm going to try to cut it a little bit. Say for a 45-degree triangle, you know that both angles are 45 degrees. Okay, so if you like, you can put in another 45 degrees here. So if those two angles are the same, and we know these two side lengths are the same. I'll just take this out for now, make it less confusing. So we know those two side lengths are the same. If I want the same hypotenuse as here and here, that would be 2. Now again, using the same Pythagoras theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, I would need two side lengths that are both the same, and that came out to 2. Okay, so if I know both of these side lengths are the same, and a and b are the same, we would basically call them both a, so a squared plus a squared equals, all my c squared is 4. Okay. So this leaves me with 2a squareds. So a squared is equal to 4 divided by 2 is 2. So a is equal to square root 2. So that means this side is square root 2 and this side is square root 2. Okay, so now I have all three of my trig ratios, 30, 60, and 45 degrees. These are the ones we're going to use the most often. And when I'm doing my work, even checking answers, coming up with assignments, okay, I'll put these at the top of the page. And so I'm working with these right away, and I'll let you know little hints in class how you can come up with these pretty quickly without having to think too hard about it.